I would smoke weed.
We need to get Cliff up here. I have a really important question for him.
Cliff, come through. I have invited you. You're being summoned.
Joe, I have a question for you actually before we like really get started with it.
Holy crap, I'm ready.
What's the origin story of the business frog? How did you go down this road of business?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it all kind of started when I started like really looking for work in Web3 and um kind of like once I got more settled down, I was really just trying to like maximize on the part of the whole like crypto art scene that I really liked, which is the more like business aspect, the marketing aspect, the getting people together aspect of things. And yeah, so I just kind of I figured that having some Pepe like frog would be a lot more personalized to what I'm doing currently if it had a suit. And so I kind of saw some Pepes around with suits that I had seen before, and I really started, gravitating towards those ones. And I think that just kind of helped the personality manifest. And I had also been begging Noel for a VRM file for like the longest. And I think like once I kind of started portraying myself with the suit, it kind of added that last bit to the personification that like made it an actual character.
That's pretty fire. Yeah, I've always kind of wondered a little more about like the origin story, so it's cool to hear you expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Bubble and Noel, because they were the ones that made like the very first iterations of Business Frog. Um, yeah.
That's real. So
R.I.P. Business Frog version 1. Let's be real.
moment
Wait,
of silence.
can I see version 1?
No, I mean, it's on VR chat. It's just a very small frog.
Do I have to
I
go
don't
in
actually
VR chat?
remember this one.
It's the
No,
super
Sim.
plain one with no clothes. It was just a naked frog.
That's scary.
Yeah, you were pretty scared.
Avery's here. That's massive. That's big time. I think we have enough people here to where we can like officially say, hey, if you want to get your interview, just request and we'll get you up. Yeah, gonna be asking a lot of friends questions today.
I got a
Ooh,
question for Squibs if he wants to request if he's able to talk. I see him chilling down in the audience.
in the meantime, I gotta ask Cliff my question. Cliff, are you good to go now? Everybody's connected?
What's good? What's good?
Is it true? Is it true?
Uh-oh.
Did goobers run on gummies?
That is actually a certified fact.
Holy shit,
It's
this
in
is huge.
it's in their DNA. They must.
Can we specify what kind of gummies? Like, is it like the Flintstone gummies? Like,
The goober gummies.
that's fire. I fuck with that.
But what's up, Squibs? How you doing, homie?
What's up, man? I'm just chilling. How about
Cool.
yourself?
I'm chilling, drinking a Modelo, having a good little evening here. But I feel like we've talked about this briefly, I think, before, because an NFT of yours that you released on Bitsky was actually my first NFT that I ever bought. It was a collaboration with Haji Gaviota, and I just kind of wanted to ask you a little bit more about like what that process was like, kind of collaborating with him on that kind of multi artistic genre NFT that you guys put out via Bitsky.
Yeah, so That was, I think, like we were kind of the first wave of people onboarded to Bitsky, and then that was the first actual one that we did on there, and Max and I worked on that together with Haji, just kind of bringing it all together. And really, I think we just wanted to make like a visualization of his project, and he had like 5 or 6 music videos out at that time for the project. And so if you look around like the room of that piece, then you can see like these off-white shoes that he got all muddy, so there's muddy footprints and just a bunch of random stuff. He had his hair dyed at that time, so we did the same dye and really just tried to make it like I treated it like a studio set, or what I would do if I had him in the actual room, just virtually.
Yeah, I always thought it was really dope, and that was kind of like right after I'd first gotten introduced to Haji and his music too, and then kind of got introduced to you and Max through that kind of thing as well. And I just always thought that it was really dope that all of you guys were kind of collaborating like that on something, and that was like one of the first things that really kind of had me intrigued about the possibilities of my art and collaboration with other people when it came to dropping stuff. So, and I actually pinned up the one of Max's tweets about it as well. If you guys want to take a look at it, it's actually a really dope piece. I'm super stoked that I've got it in my wallet.
Oh yeah, thank you. I think we did 20 or 50 of them, and it sold out like in 10 minutes. I see it says there, and so we were all just so stoked. And I know a lot of us like were all on Bitsy at that same time, so it's pretty cool to just like see it come full circle.
Yeah, and didn't you guys give away like a VHS for like the first 5 mentors or something like that as well?
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
ended up
yeah.
getting one of the leftover VHS tapes that's got the project on it, but I thought that was like a really nice touch as well, kind of introducing some physical stuff into it as well. So all like the whole way that you guys rolled that out and did that drop, I thought was super impressive, and always have loved that piece and love kind of thinking back to that time and the space and when everything was like super exciting and like brand new for a lot of us artists. So really dope.
Oh, yeah. No, I appreciate it. It was such an amazing time. The things I sold on Bitsky were insane.
Yo, also,
Like I,
can we just give a quick shout out to Bitsky? Like,
yeah,
they were really so cool in the beginning as far as like co-marketing for a lot of artists that were like just stepping into the space for the first time. Like, I don't think I don't know. I definitely would have gotten into it eventually, but I feel like that definitely like changed my trajectory with how I got into the space.
Yeah, I think they did a lot for a lot of people, myself included.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of interrupted with that, but I just really wanted to shout them out.
no, that's real. One of the first places I think, at least like we flocked to it, was you could pay with credit cards. So you're trying to get all these people who don't understand what's going on. It really helped.
Yeah,
Which
I definitely copped that NFT with my debit card because I hadn't bought ETH or anything yet, and so I was like, oh man, this is really dope. I've been interested in this stuff, and the fact that I can just type in my credit card info and still get this and kind of understand a little bit about what the process is like was really dope. So shout out Bitsky for real. They onboarded a lot of people to the space, I think, especially in the early days.
I feel like they were super ahead of their time with that too. Like, I still think that's going to be very important as far as like onboarding mainstream audiences later on. I think people are definitely going to want more ways to have like super easy payment rails, and Bitsky, as far as I know, within NFTs was like really one of the first companies doing that.
But yeah, thank you, Squibs, for giving a little bit of background on that piece. Always loved that, and just happy that I got linked with you and Max through that as well. So
Of course, of course. I'm glad you asked that because I mean that was over a year ago. That was 2 Marches. So always appreciate to hear that shit come back up.
yeah, absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong too, but wasn't one of the first, or I don't know if it was actually branded under for the TL, or if it was something that like Max individually did, but wasn't one of those first exhibitions with Bitsky? I think.
Yeah, I mean Max, I see you're in here, but It was called Metaphysical, and we did that at a gallery here in Brooklyn called Door. And we had like Mew in the show, Sean Williams, Sophie Sturdivant, Noah Coker, Dylan ATM. I think he was in the lineup, but yeah, it was really cool. And then our friend Fumi, who used to work for Bitsky, lives around, so she was there, and it was a really good time.
That's good. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember that was like one of the first galleries that I saw where it was like a bunch of people from our Twitter being represented. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, first time we all met in person, and one of my first times up here in New York in a while, and now I live here, so it's a good feeling.
Damn, it all comes full circle for real. That's crazy.
That's right.
Hi, Max.
Yeah, since you're up here, do you want to talk about that experience a little bit? Was that the first exhibition you drew?
GM. Yeah, that was the first show I ever curated. That was, I want to say a year and 2 months ago, something like that.
That's real. What was that like? Like, was that a nerve-wracking experience? Like, did you have to kind of like produce everything and like manage the event as well, or did Bitsky help out with that? Like, what was that whole experience like?
Oh yeah. Squibs can attest to how crazy that week leading into the show was. But yeah, I mean, I think I put it on myself and on us, like, to do a lot of the work, because it was a mix of physical and digital works. There were 10 artists, or there were 9 actually. I think one artist couldn't get their work in on time. So it was kind of crazy. It was my first time, and really my only time working with a traditional art gallery. And yeah, it was a lot of work, a lot of learning as we went. I still had a job. Like, things were kind of different back then. And yeah, Bitsky really just helped support with facilitating the NFT sales. We actually collaborated with On Cyber as well, like pretty early days, like last summer. They were launching an integration with Bitsky, and they designed like a bunch of new like skins for their gallery. So we got to use one of those like for the first time, and yeah, it was a cool experience, man. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, that was the genesis.
That's so sick. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that in the interview that we did the other day, but I wasn't sure because I wasn't sure if that was like for the TL thing or if that was like something you did more solo. So I didn't really ask about it. But it's cool to hear the story behind that.
Hell yeah, appreciate that, man. Yeah, Metaphysical is kind of like its own thing, and it's something I plan on doing more of in the future. Those shows are like, a little bit smaller than the TL ones. Like, we want to kind of keep it curated and a smaller group, like more attention on physical artworks. But there are a lot of logistics that go into those shows, and TL has kind of taken up a lot of time. So we'll get back soon enough.
That's dope. Love to hear that.
Oh, I thought this was the Chipotle DoorDash app. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Hi,
No,
Max.
it's all good. That is actually what this is. Can I take your order?
Yeah. I'll have like food that tastes like mediocre crap, but put more extra. Ask me all the options. I want the white and brown rice, and then if you don't have sour cream, that's cool. Replace it with cheesy sauce or something. Thank you. Oh, also,
Guac is free at our establishment, by the way. We're not like Chipotle.
whoa, whoa. Holy, that is a unique value. What is that? That is a USP as fuck. Holy shit.
Wait, Max, I have a question for you. Are you down to be interviewed?
Yes.
All right. What about your creative process do you enjoy most?
The fact that it's batshit. I would say crazy or unpredictable, but then and then I would say insane, but that's a little too high up. the scale. Let me see if I can make this like high school, like tolerable for a teacher. The process of my creative process that I enjoy is that I get to make cool things.
Hell yeah. I enjoyed that.
Nice. Is this like a burrito cult? Holy crap! I'm like, all these people look like burritos and/or aliens.
We're actually sipping right now.
Yeah, we're
Part of
big time sipping.
We're like lean. What are you guys on?
I
Apple juice.
mean,
A lean
Cartoon
burrito?
apple juice.
It's an apple juice container, but there's lean in it.
Oh, cool. Is Wheezy part of the board of directors?
Yes, yeah,
That would
he
be
definitely is. But it's
special.
like 2006 Wheezy. We have a time machine too.
Oh yeah, remember when everyone like mixed lands and the zines and the whatever, and everyone started dying, and then they were like, "Well, you shouldn't do that on MTV." Anyone see like little Xans talk about that? Or
that was definitely a moment in history that was interesting to say the least.
That was indeed a moment of history.
it's like
Max,
if you
I
call
have
it,
a question if you don't mind.
yeah, sure.
So, what would you define trash art as?
I would define it as photomontage pictures of a garbage can, which can no longer be called a toter because who knew? I saw literally somebody had like toter on their racing jacket, so I was like, holy crap, they got a lot of money, man. And it was like NASCAR or F1 or something. I was like, damn, toter is like, it's not like Bob's Barricades out here in Florida. I mean, they only clear like $6 million a year. Toter must make bank.
Bro sounds like he's in a war zone right now. What's going on behind you, bro?
There's a lot of extra noise. I feel like you're like walking through the streets of New York City or like in Times Square or some shit right now.
You would think. I think we're all in a war zone right now, which is kind of like extremely awkward. But like, I'm just, if anyone bombs a Chipotle, I will, redact it. I can't say what I would do because that would be like a direct
Hey,
threat. Damn, there's people on like one wheels. There's like a whole gang of one wheels that just went by. Holy shit.
Yo, Max, do you smoke weed?
Rarely, and only after like dank art shows anymore. Like there's like a 2-gram Keith rolled glass tipped joint that I bought for Crypto Art Show 2, and it was like only after everybody sort of like chilled out, whatever. It was like 4 a.m. and I passed it around, and that's probably like my best weed story so far, other than taking a Prius into like the 140 mile an hour zone on the 405, and then while smoking that to calm myself down from all the mescaline I was eating. But no one caught me, so that was cool.
That sounded like a based moment, for sure.
I looked down at the because it was like on a hill, and if like when you're going down a hill, like you gain momentum, which is cool. And I was so glad that there's no LAPD with like one of those dumbass laser guns, because that would have been a bad night. Don't speed, kids. I don't know if I have to explain everything these days.
How'd you like the Mocha show? I remember seeing you there.
Dude, that was the like. I felt like it was like a somewhat highbrow version of like Studio 54, minus everyone just like banging each other everywhere. Like it was kind of like the hardest shit to get into because it was that cool, and then like they had good music, and then I just, I got to meet Joy there, so I'm like, that's probably like my favorite OG that is underappreciated somewhat.
You're a lucky motherfucker, because I saw you, and then he told me that he was out there too, and I'm like, that doesn't even make sense because I didn't see you. But yeah, no, you're lucky for me and Joy.
Yeah, so there's actually like a bunch of like, and Satsmoon was there, and so was Dave. David, not Dave. That's a more American thing. But like David, right. And I was like, because I've been wanting to meet him, and he's cool, but he had just sold it to eBay, and everyone like hated that move. So it's kind of like, all right, let's just all get drunk and fucking just flop around like idiots.
Yo, John.
What up? What's good?
How are you, friend?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Hanging out. I'm drinking a Modelo. Just chilling.
Real? Yeah, actually, so I saw you in the audience, and I had a couple questions that came to mind if you're down.
Let's do it.
Sweet. So I feel like at this point in your career, you've had like multiple kind of viral moments where songs have really taken off. How did it feel the first time you like really started to notice some momentum?
Dude, I was confused. I was like, I don't know, dude. I kind of like, like the SoundCloud algorithm, like back in the day was like, just like a crazy, I guess it's like TikTok now, but like, yeah, I was just like, I don't even understand how I'm getting any plays right now. Like it was like people I hadn't spoken to started hitting me up being like, yo, your song came on shuffle. And I was like, damn, like that is, I don't even understand this.
Yeah, because I think the Backstreets like hit the algorithm within Spotify or something, and like it played for me in like a playlist or something. And then I remember we connected on social media like I don't know, like years later, like a couple years later or some shit. And I checked out your Spotify and I was like, wait, holy shit, this is that dude. And I don't know, I feel like that has to be like such a crazy experience. Like how did it play out? Like was it kind of like a 0 to 100 kind of thing, or did it kind of like happen organically, like slowly?
It's weird because like it was definitely organic, but I also think like certain things had to line up in a certain way in order for me to get lucky to even begin with. Because I think like certain people at Spotify had like heard my name, and um they just like were like we're gonna put it on like what is it, New Music Friday, right? But they're like we'll put it on New Music Friday. Um and like they did, and then like it just kind of went viral after that, which that was the first time, probably the only time I think that I've ever seen any of my stuff just like randomly go viral like that.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely well deserved though. Like I really do. I love your music a lot. I've listened to Backstreet a ton, but like I've listened to a lot of your other catalog, like a lot of the rest of your catalog as well. So that's cool to hear about all this.
Yeah, I'm glad to be like active in Web3 now too, because like I feel like it's kind of like reignited my passion for all things creative.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that a little bit. So usually we just like do like one question or a couple questions, and I'm kind of curious about this. Was there anything about your experience like in the industry that made you gravitate towards Web3? Like, what got you into NFTs?
Like the last thing that happened before I got into Web3 was like I was like talking to a major label, and like it just felt like a game of cat and mouse, and like it was like we're gonna take all your copyright forever for the next 6 albums. We're gonna take 85% of everything you earn, and then the other 15% is for like you and your collaborators. And I was like, I was like, I in good conscience, like I can't do this.
No, that's real as hell. That makes a lot of sense to me. So what? Because actually, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we follow each other, but your stuff doesn't always pop up on the timeline for whatever reason. I think the Twitter algorithm is just like plotting on me. But so what has your experience been like in Web3 so far? Like, what have you been doing with that?
It's been like really, really good. Like I said, I feel like this kind of made me feel like I didn't have to like create a certain type of like music to like get people's attention, which like I really appreciate. Like I just feel like I can make what I want to make, and like I can just tell people like I really like this song, like y'all should peep this, and then like it's gonna do what it does. But like it feels a lot better knowing, and it's like the personal connection part too, where like I can actually talk to the people that have like collected my music, and like have one-on-one discussions with them. And like I didn't like you can do that in like Web 2, but like I think it's like a lot different when like somebody will spend a considerable amount of money to be like, I like your art a lot, um and like it's this valuable to me, because like that was just like a crazy concept, especially for music, that like and I'd always wanted it to be like that, but I was just like, I don't know if the tools will exist and the powers that be will like allow this to be a thing.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. The relationship between like fans and artists is just kind of completely changing with this new meta, because I think it's really cool. Like, so with the sippies, that we were talking about, bubbles creation, like the profile creation we all have right now. We were talking in a space the other day about how like having the art itself is free, but to like authenticate and actually have ownership on the blockchain, you have to pay for that. And I think that model within music is really interesting too. Of like everybody can stream it just on a streaming service or whatever, but if you like want to actually like say you own the token, you have to have the NFT or whatever, and then that gives you like a little more of a close relationship with the artist or whatever. And I think that whole concept is just really interesting for music in particular.
Yeah, it's like I kind of look at it with like the same amount of like revere that I look at like a signed like copy of like a CD or something.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yagami, I see you have your hand up, and also, I am gonna keep it pushing just because we usually do like only ask a couple questions, but I definitely would like to get you up here for like a one-on-one interview sometime if you'd be down for that.
Dude, it's a no-brainer. Like Avery and you, like I feel like, especially getting into Web3, like seeing some familiar faces was like so sick and made it a lot easier to transition in. So I appreciate y'all.
That's really dope. No, definitely appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, no, I remember, John, we had that long phone call one time just talking about a bunch of different Web3 stuff. I definitely appreciated you kind of pushing things in the right direction as far as like music, NFTs, and that stuff goes. So it's been really dope to kind of watch how you conduct yourself within the space and just the effort and energy that you put into your work. So really appreciated it, and definitely need to get you on a full one-on-one interview soon.
Let's definitely do it. And I was gonna add too, could you say the name of your profile picture again? Because I might have to cop those. Those look pretty fly.
It's they're the sippies. I can send you some links after the space ends. Or actually, I'll move to Yagami and then I'll send you some links right now.
That yeah, definitely DM me those. I literally, because I keep seeing them, because y'all, when I see y'all tweet, I keep seeing them. So I'm like, damn, like I kind of want one of these, you know?
That's real. Anyways, Yagami, were you gonna say something?
That's funny. I have a question for Noel.
Yeah, what's goody?
Does Feta smoke weed?
I hate it here.
No, I'm kidding. I actually have a question. What made you decide on pretty much making Feta the main character for the universe? Because you have a bunch of characters, and any one of them like stand out as their own independent like being. But what made you like settle down in Feta as being like the main, you know?
I think I just relate to him the most, and it was more so like the start of it all. So he's kind of like a safety net for me as well. With the way that I do build out the universe, it can just sort of keep going. So to have that sort of character that I relate to the most, and then can like sort of build off of the most, definitely helps me sort of continue to push that world as well.
Love to hear that. Do you like, I know you can make a character pretty easily, but like where do you get your ideas for like what each character does in the universe and things like that?
Really just whatever comes to mind. Talking with a lot of friends, definitely helps. Like little small things that they point out about me, or just things about them that I enjoy, that I can sort of hide within those characters. But then, like general inspiration wise, a lot of like Pinterest and like Dolly, to sort of generate like ideas for the bodies and forms and stuff like that. Um, I think that's probably what I spend the most time or struggle with the most, was just like body styles and stuff like that for sure.
Good to hear. Appreciate learning more of the Fediverse. I can have a whole interview with you, to be honest, but we'll keep it pushing.
I actually have a question for Drew, if Drew's there.
What's up?
Oh shit, you were sipping. Very understandable. Um, so I know you're a big part of a lot of select communities like Gooberland, and even a mod for Vinny. So with all your experience in these different communities, what advice would you give to someone trying to build a community?
Oh, that's a good question. Really, honestly, just be yourself. That's really all it is. Like that's like the only thing I have to say. Like that's what's really gotten me from where I am now. Like it's pretty crazy. Like I haven't even been into crypto a year yet. Like I haven't. It hasn't even been a full year since I've even dove into this space at all. And like seeing how like quick I was able to be surrounded by so many amazing people, I just realized it was just kind of just being genuine out there. Like if you see an artist post work you like, retweet it, like, comment. Like it really takes 30 seconds out of my day to just show someone that I appreciate what they're contributing to the space. And chances are, like, people are just trying to connect with other genuine people in the space, and it's really just putting yourself out there is what I've realized.
Hell yeah, that was great. So I actually have a question for Zwist. I don't know if Zwist is here, but why don't I just marvel on Drew's answer? That was fantastic, sir. Um, I've definitely seen a lot of success from just putting myself out there, trying to learn to be more genuine and in how I express myself, and yeah, I think it really does help build communities.
I think it's definitely probably one of the more scarier parts of this space too, because you can definitely get really stuck in the whole, oh, I gotta show myself as like a better person in this space. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Just being you.
Like I guess like if I could add on to it, just to kind of give a little my intro to it. Like the biggest step I took, it was literally the day I joined the space. Cool Cats LA was having their unofficial meetup the very next day. I didn't have an NFT Twitter and nothing, but I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw myself out there. I'm just gonna go, and then I went to the meetup, and it was kind of backwards for me, where I was putting faces to Twitter accounts, whereas like when you go to IRL events, you're like trying to like figure out who's who, and I feel like that kind of just like putting yourself out there, just jumping into it, is just like really all it is.
Hell yeah, that's a nice story for sure. Really just starting out by putting yourself out there day one.
Yo, did you say my name? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, Zwist, I have a question for you. So, do you like clouds?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yo, Burrito Dao, do you like burritos?
Not
Fuck
really.
yeah.
Sick.
We're getting to the real nitty gritty, asking the hard questions tonight. This is awesome.
Truly, we just got to the bottom of a lot. I got a
Who's
question.
behind the burrito? Okay.
Is there bacon in your burrito?
Sorry, what? What, Max?
I don't mean to make it controversial, but is there bacon in your burrito?
It sounds like you're in the burrito kitchen.
For you.
Oh yeah, I forgot on that. I'm gonna step outside and ask the question
That's awesome.
again.
I love you for
All
that.
right. All right. Do you have bacon in your burrito?
Me personally, I don't, but it is definitely an option that we provide for those who enjoy bacon.
Is it a breakfast burrito?
If you make it that way,
I'd hope so.
God
I
made
haven't had a
you a
good breakfast
special
burrito in a
purple
while.
rat. Sorry.
Go to Austin, man. Torchy's tacos. You're gonna feel like you want to die afterwards, just because it's like so whatever. But it's definitely an experience worth having. As you're having it, it's probably like one of the heights of hedonism on this planet.
Beautiful.
Yo, Burrito Dao, do you drink apple juice in your burrito?
Zwist, get your head in the game.
That's pre-alpha.
Nah, for real. I fell asleep and I don't know what the conversation is about now.
That's so real.
Personally, I'm just sipping right now.
I know someone had a question for Serb since the start, so can they please ask that? I
Yes,
feel bad that
I
we
have a
haven't gotten to
question for
Serb
Serp.
yet.
It's so important. Serp, are you here? I can't repeat the last moment. I know you said you're going to play Elden Ring. You might be interrupting that.
He's sweating right now, so
He's literally playing Elden Ring.
Wait, no, I'm here. But I am
Yeah,
playing Elden Ring. Yeah, it's got clapped.
it happens to the best of us and you. Okay, so
all of us.
do you get a lot of sleep and do you remember your dreams? Because when I look at your art, I feel like when I'm dreaming, if that makes sense. Like there's a real distinct kind of dreamy feel to it, and I'm curious if dreams influence your creation.
Did you say do dreams influence my work? The voice is a bit muffly.
Yeah, your work or just you in general. Like, do you remember a lot of dreams?
Yeah, I would say it's an influence. I used to do a lot of lucid dreaming, like a long time ago, and I've had dreams where I'm creating like landscapes and basically being like godlike powers. So I like to portray that feeling a lot of times, and yeah, just also had a lot of sleep paralysis as well. So it's definitely influenced like just some visuals and yeah, definitely feelings as well.
I can totally relate to that. I've experienced a lot of sleep paralysis as well. I would be curious, do you have have you seen any crazy shit while you were either lucid dreaming or sleep paralysis, like out of the normal crazy? Anything that quickly?
Honestly, nothing that I can really say, and that's like what I was just saying now is when I literally was creating the entire landscape to my mind. So I was changing it to like a beach, and then I was changing it to like a snowy landscape within like the click of my finger. It was to like probably about 10 different scenes, and then actually probably one of the most eerie ones is not like that different, but it was this moment where I realized I was dreaming. And before I went to bed, I was just thinking about time travel, like how I could do it and just time travel movies. And I was in this dream and I was walking along and this strange character, like an NPC kind of character, was kind of looking at me. And they kind of just morphed right next to me. And they were like, oh, yeah, I've got a trip for time traveling if you want it. I'm like, okay. I'm not. I was like, how did they know I was thinking about that? And I was like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. And then I just always start flying. Like that's the first thing I always do if I get lucid in a dream is just fly. But yeah, that's probably like the thing I can remember.
That's
Sir,
so
do you eat strawberries before you go to sleep?
What?
Do you eat strawberries before you go to sleep? Because I heard like if you eat strawberries before sleeping, you can like remember your dreams.
No,
What?
I haven't done that. I used to have a dream journal though. Let's just write it down. I'm gonna try the strawberries though.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm getting strawberries next time I go to the store.
I also relate to the flying within lucid dreaming because I read that that's the safest way to determine whether or not you're in a dream if you do something kind of unreasonable like that. Because if you lucid dream a lot, sometimes it's hard to determine the boundaries between your sleep and your real life. So it's always good to try something like just flying. to, to make sure you know you're actually in a dream.
Let's try flying in real life.
Yeah, I just tried. It didn't work. So I think this is real.
Hi, Yagami. Do you have a question for someone?
Yeah, I have a question for Will, if he's on the mic.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. How would you describe your dynamic between being a creator and being a collector? Because recently I've been seeing you pick up a lot of amazing art, and I'm just wondering how or if that relates to the things you create or like what you look for when you're collecting art.
Well, that's an interesting one. I don't I don't really know if there's too much of a relation. Like because I mean, I feel like the work that I'm picking up is usually very different from the work that I make myself. A lot of the time, I'm also just like grabbing work from friends too. Like I did on that piece Ready earlier. I got like Storm Supergenesis. Storm is definitely a friend of mine too. Yeah, I don't know. It's mostly it's like picking up my favorite stuff that I see from friends. And then oftentimes when I do collect, it's not actually usually with profits from art sales. It's like if I've had like a few good like trades or whatever. So yeah, I don't think it's really related, but I definitely do find myself getting a lot of satisfaction out of collecting. Like when I first like started having some pretty solid trades and I sold out like rose tinted glasses in like August, September last year. I dove into Tezos and collected like 500 Tezos pieces over the course of like a couple months or whatever. And that was like super inspiring for me. Like I wasn't making a ton of art at the time, but like I found that I enjoyed like the curatorial process of that like almost as much as making art. So yeah.
Thank you. That's good to hear.
Yeah, collecting is definitely interesting. I for sure like I would recommend like one just because it's good to support your friends, it's good to support your peers, but also like I feel like when you collect, it does kind of give you a different perspective on the market, and I would suggest like pretty much all artists do that if you're in a position where you're able to.
Mm. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That's interesting though.
Yeah, I think it really like gives you a different perspective on not like our like ultimate goal as artists should be to like drive value to our collectors or whatever, but I personally feel like that's important, and it's definitely doing some collecting and some trading and everything has made me feel differently about like the way that I personally release work and like how much I'm having on the market at any given time, the way that I move in the space and everything. And it's also like made me more closely view the way that like other artists do that. And I feel like I've learned a lot from that.
I have a question for Avery.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, what is your relationship with fear? Do you have a lot of or any fears and worries, or do they motivate you? Do you feel held back ever? I'm curious about just like your relationship with the idea of fear in general.
Dude, my biggest fucking fear is losing my sight. I already have terrible vision. Like just in general, I wear glasses and contacts, but like my definite like biggest fear is losing my sight. And as a photographer, it sometimes keeps me awake, thinking about the possibility of at some point in my life losing my sight, even though it's like this completely unrealistic thing that I'm like scared of sometimes. It's like that shit is scary because I don't know. Photography is such a big part of my life. Even like outside of the artistic way that I, have a relationship with photography, like the way that I like categorize and preserve my memories is through little photos and things like that. And so yeah, losing my sight is definitely probably my biggest fear. I wouldn't necessarily say that it like motivates me or anything, but it is something that pretty often crosses my mind. just from like a anxiety and my brain hating me point of view. But yeah, I don't think I really have any like fears or things like that that I do end up portraying through my art. Maybe that is like an interesting thing I could try and explore. Yeah, I've never really thought about that aspect of things relating to my art, but yeah, losing my sight is fucking scary. I hope it never happens.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. I know that's kind of a hard question to answer. I'm always just like curious about like what corners people's minds go to and if they do or don't influence their art. Because I notice a lot of times like people don't always create what they're feeling directly, and so it's just something that's interesting to me. So thank you for that.
No, yeah, you actually kind of spurred like an interesting idea in my brain, actually, now that you asked that. So, because I've been wanting to get back in the dark room, and be making like black and white prints and stuff, and I think there's actually a really interesting way that I could, like, kind of delve into the idea of a photographer like slowly losing his vision, through like interesting like printmaking techniques. So, you might have actually just kickstarted my desire to clean my fucking laundry room and get my dark room set up again.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
I like how everyone's fears is like so deep, and then mine is literally just like if you see a spider and then it disappears.
Okay,
For
well that's also
example,
No,
fucking
that's so real.
terrifying.
Or like when it moves at you a little faster than you expect it to, the most terrifying shit.
when you're sleeping and it falls on you from the ceiling. It's
No, fuck
happened
that.
before.
We're not even going that far.
Yeah, I will not be sleeping tonight. Thank you, Zwist.
You're welcome.
I have a question for Bongo, actually, if nobody else has anything right now. Bongo, are you there?
Yeah, what up?
Awesome. So I'm kind of curious, like, I know that you also do a good bit of trading and a good bit of collecting. So I'm kind of curious, like, how do you balance those two, and how do you balance like the more long-term perspective of collecting versus the short-term perspective of trading?
I mean, I would say that like when I collect pieces, I don't really collect with the idea that like I will gain financial um benefits from it in the long term. Like, yeah, like I feel like what a lot of collectors kind of think about, but I mostly just collect what I like. Um, versus like trading, trading is a very like unemotional, like you literally can't have emotions, so it's hard to like, at least for me, like buy art that I like with the idea that like at some future point I'm just gonna like dump it for a lot of money. It's not really something I think about when I'm collecting. Which like I think is a healthy balance, especially considering like I spend most of my time like flipping shit, like not like one of ones or anything, but like stupid PFP projects and shit coins and shit. So, I mean, I think collecting is honestly balance that out because, like, you know, just yeah, trading's unemotional. Collecting, I think, the more emotion you have is probably better, from my point of view, at least.
No, that definitely makes sense to me, and I would say that I approach it much the same in that like the thing. And when I talk about long term, it's not even like I'm thinking about my art portfolio, things that I'm collecting is like stuff that I may potentially profit off of. It's like I do kind of think about it in a way as like, okay, if that happens, it's an added bonus, and like if it like reaches some stupid amount in the future, like I might have to take it. But with the short term stuff, it is just about taking profits or whatever. Would you be comfortable talking about like kind of how you allocate a portfolio of like knowing when you feel comfortable collecting and like versus like when you just want to keep the stack for doing more trading?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like collecting money is like disposable income. Like, you know, and trading is like to an extent kind of like that too, because like I have a job and like the job pays, and trading isn't like I was full-time trading for like a little bit. It went pretty well, but you know,
sometimes you do well, sometimes not so well. So it's a stressful way of living life. But like, all right, like typically what happens is if I make a really good trade, like the first thing I'm kind of looking to do is like collect a piece. And then just kind of on like the thing you mentioned about like, yeah, like if pieces end up becoming worth something at some point, like yeah, like if it's an absorbent amount of money, like yeah, sometimes you should take it. Like if you're sitting on life-changing money, you gotta detach emotion from that, no matter how much you like it. I think that's something that's important. Like I was like an early Gremlin collector, and uh I had a few pieces from him that like when the cryptodes kind of popped off, like I bought them for like $50. They were now worth like like 8 ETH, 10 ETH, like here and there. So it was kind of hard for me to look at that and be like, no matter how much I liked it, then like, yeah, like I should keep this. It's like, no, I that's like a lot of money. So, it's a tough decision. But it's important to like, manage like life finances, like make sure like, everything that you need is available to you. And like you're not stressed about things. Like that's like ultimately the goal behind like at least trading for me is to not be stressed like with money. So like that's like another thing. If I start losing a lot of money trading, then it's like okay, it's time to sit back, like relax, just save some money, give it another go. But luckily I've been in the space since like 2017, so I don't tend to over risk anymore. Or when I do, it's like when I risk a lot, it's not like if I like lost everything, like my whole portfolio, like I would be okay. So that's like kind of how I approach things. And then like the art, like I'll keep doing regardless if I'm trading or not, which is like a nice thing that keeps me kind of involved with what's going on. So yeah, that was kind of rambly, but yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I think it's super important because like I notice both in these spaces and then like in a lot of other spaces that I see, it seems like we get the artist perspective a lot. But I think it's rare that people get asked questions about like collecting and trading and kind of their perspectives on that. And I think it's genuinely very helpful for artists to hear these things, so they kind of understand like how the collectors are thinking as well. So yeah, I appreciate you speaking on that.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the question.
I actually have a question for Bubble if they're down for it. I know they're a listener right now, but Bubble, if you're here, come through.
He's probably too busy sipping.
No, that's real.
I was waiting for it. I knew Will was gonna come through for us with the sip.
I just wanted to say real quick, anyone's welcome to request and come be interviewed. We're giving each person that requests one question to interview. We probably will run like another 15 to 30 minutes depending on our host's availability, but yeah, for sure. If you want one question, feel free to request.
I'm chilling right now too. I know that we cut this like close to an hour, but I don't know, for some reason the hour went by super quickly. I'm good for whatever right now.
For sure,
I have
for
a
sure.
question, Joe.
Oh, can I ask Bubble and then
Yeah.
I'm down.
Hi.
Okay. Hey, so Bubble, what
Hi.
has the process of like creating these sips and getting them out into the world, like what have you learned from that process and this last like week or so, either just in like the aspect of building community or the aspect of like consistently being able to create or any of that?
Hey,
It's a good question, and I think that it hasn't necessarily been long enough for me to take away too many lessons quite yet. I'm still in the middle of the storm, you might say. But one thing I'm noticing more and more is that it's silly, on paper, but it's the whole thing of like the work's not gonna get done if you don't do it. And seeing just like how people react to days where there's 20 versus days where there's like five new sippies out on the timeline is just been showing me that more and more that at the end of the day I need to structure myself in a way where I'm able to keep producing them at a good rate and also still kind of interacting with people. So finding that balance has been something that I'm trying to do better. So I guess for me, like right now is that like the work isn't gonna do itself and just refreshing the timeline doesn't mean that suddenly stuff's gonna start happening. Like you kind of just gotta go out there and make it happen. Just put in the work.
Yeah, for real. I've definitely noticed similar things with Burrito Dao. It's just like I want cool shit to always be happening, but like I gotta keep pushing it forward, keep making things happen in the micro so the macro can be something amazing.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's that for sure. It's like I want to be seeing stuff happen, but at the end of the day, like it's kind of up to me to be including more people into the sippies and getting people excited to just meme out or whatever the case may be. So it's been cool to see. I mean, it hasn't been long. It's a little bit over a week now. Not even a full week of minting, but at the same time, it feels like a long time, and it feels like I'm kind of on my way back up into the spot I want to be in. Whereas I was kind of dipping these last few days, not producing as much and being more distracted by the timeline. I guess it's just finding that balance and finding healthy ways to interact with social media, which is the dilemma.
So actually, I have questions for both you, Bubble, and for Joe. And also, I just wanted to show real quick. I just checked out your OpenSea link in the bio and noticed that the new Sippy auction has like a little bit less than an hour left on it. So that's currently 0.2. You have to be on the blockchain yet. It's live for another 59 minutes. I'm just gonna put that out there. But I think there might be a little bit of carryover between this question and what Joe just asked. But I was wondering, like, have there been any big like obstacles or any big challenges that you face insofar as like something that you kind of struggled with in creating Sippies and like handling the community and everything so far?
uh, I think the like I mean certain sippies I put a lot more time into just because they require it and like finding that balance has been a little bit challenging not to like overdo it and get caught up all on one when I need to be doing multiple. But I think the bulk of the efforts was before mint day where I wasn't even sure if I was going to mint this as a collection, but then I chatted with Joe and had like a lot more clarity in it all. And also just the demand from people was there for me not to like act on. So after talking with him, like kind of realized like things I needed to do. So I went home, made a promotional video, deployed my contract, wrote an article about it, and just like went forward all in less than like 24 hours. So I feel like that was most challenging, but I was only really able to do it because I had like a clear structure of what I wanted to put out there before starting a mint. And now I guess the challenge I'm facing is not becoming complacent and only resorting to like minting and running these auctions every day. Like I definitely want to include a little more uh, narrative or some kind of more excitement into it, whether it be through promotional videos or more writings or whatever it may be. I just kind of that's the challenge I'm currently at is like where do I take it and how do I do so?
Yeah, I think we should definitely we help out a lot that like I would do personally if I were in your position. So we should.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the answer. And then Joe, I have a similar question for you actually. So, what do you feel like has been easiest for you in like stepping up and like formalizing things over Burrito Dao more? And then what's been like a big obstacle that you face that like has been like a great difficulty?
I'm gonna have to think on this one for a second. Um, I don't know. I would say that I don't know about the hardest, but I would definitely say the easiest has been like just being able to like sync with different people and like kind of see where they're at and just like be able to hop on a call at any given time with a lot of these different people that I'm working on and kind of um just be able to express the things that I'm trying to focus on and accomplish and get to hear from them. Like that's very easy for me. Like that's very natural to me to like just be talking to people all day, and a lot of these people are like already previous friends. So yeah, it's that's definitely the easiest part is just like syncing up with people, working with people, especially like one on one or like in small groups. But like the hardest thing is probably just being organized in general and just having a structure in general because like I am at the same time trying to micromanage as little as possible, but also like um just the way things are right now, it's like I have a little bit of a say in at least most decisions. So it's like it's kind of trying to like manage those two different worlds where it's like I want to give people a ton of agency and I don't want to be micromanaging people in any way, and I kind of want this to run like a well-oiled machine, but at the same time it's like that's just not the reality I live in now, and a lot of these things do need that extra bit of attention, just making sure that everything comes out the way that we as a collective intend it to.
No, I respect that a lot and I appreciate the answer. Yeah. I feel like I've definitely noticed you putting in a ton of effort, and I feel like you've been killing it. Like I don't know how many people have been saying that, but you've definitely been doing a great job as far as like just making sure that everything stays organized. And I see in Ely as well. Actually, I don't think that they're here right now, but I like have nothing but good things to say about like what both of you have been doing for the organization and everything.
Sorry, I actually had trouble hearing the last part of that. But yeah, thank you a ton for all the praise, and like I very much so am working really hard because I at the end of the day, like one of the few things that I really truly want is just to make cool shit happen with a lot of my talented friends. So yeah, it's the one thing that like I can really always work on no matter how high the stress factor gets.
That's real
We
tough
love the business frog.
on Feta. Yeah, I think the only thing that you miss is like I was just shouting out Ely as well because I know that Ely has also been like very instrumental as far as like making sure that the organization is staying as clean and as organized as it needs to be. So definitely props to them
Yeah,
as well.
huge shout out to Ely. Ely is definitely taking it up to another step, and also shout out to Haley. Haley's another person who's recently started helping us out, and both of them have kept me more accountable on stuff that I naturally am lacking a bit more at.
That's real tough.
I
So
actually have a
I have a
question for Scott.
oh yeah, well shit. Hello. What's up?
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, my question for you is, what made you start creating this like goblin character, and what's the significance to it? Because I saw that you had like a submission for people's profile pictures to be kind of drawn in that goblin style.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I really liked the gorillas. Um, and I always drew them, and my style just kind of developed into like turning them into kind of like ghoulish looking people. Um, and then it kind of advanced beyond gorillas, and I started just like designing them in my own way. and they have their own like personalities. Like some will have like a light bulb on them, or their smiles will be really wide, or they'll have like a joint in their mouth, or something like that. And I just wanted to make a character that was like really easy to look at, like really simple to draw, and that's why like 43 people have retweeted it, and like 43 people have new profile pictures to use. Like it just completely flows out of my hand. It's super fun. And their body's like really lanky, so I can put them in whatever position I want to. I didn't want to like restrict that character at all. It's just like a very magical being. It's yeah.
It's
It all
very
started in high school.
distinguished.
What's up?
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, it's like a very distinguished style, but go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, I remember it was a junior year, and it was summer, and I gave my teacher a goblin in like a swimming pool, and he had like floaties on, and ever since then, like I never stopped drawing that character. It just stuck with me. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Story of my little
It's
goblin.
very unique, and like I definitely, if I just saw your art like on the timeline, I definitely know it was your art.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really
I definitely branch out more than just the goblin. Like the goblin's a nice little like pop art kind of guy, but I really like drawing like fantasy conceptual art, and like getting really gritty and dark with it. So the goblin's kind of my happy guy.
I have a question for you as well, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just checked out your profile when we were talking about your art when Joe was just asking you the question.
Yeah.
And I noticed a few mutuals that we have. Have you worked at all with like Team Sesh or anything?
Oh yeah, Team Sesh is fucking awesome, man. I have been following Team Sesh for like since like 2015, and I've always just made fan art for them, and I'd like go to their shows and like give them art and stuff. I haven't done any art officially for them, but they definitely appreciate it and like throw me some likes here or there. Excuse me.
That's so sick. Yeah, no, because the first one that I noticed was like this person that I did a commission for like a couple years back or something. I noticed
What's
you
his
guys were
name?
mutual. It was how am I gonna pronounce this? I think it's like Skeleton or
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
we worked together on like some cover art like way back. They just look nice.
definitely. Yeah, he produced for them for an album.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he's chill, man. He's followed me forever.
That's so sick. Yeah, they're definitely good peoples for sure. No, that's really cool. Really cool. So we haven't said it in a little bit, so I'll just repeat it again. If anybody wants to come up for a quick like 1-2 question interview, we are doing those right now. If nobody else comes up, it looks like there's people starting to filter out. Do you guys want to keep it going, or are you still on Joe and Alhu?
Yeah, if anyone else has or if anyone else wants a question, definitely request, but if not, I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Okay.
I actually have a question about like what exactly this community is, because it randomly popped up on my space. Like I was just like the universe just kind of threw this Twitter space at me. I don't know any of you. It's kind of funny. Like it was just on the top of my screen, and I was interested. Like all these little characters I'm looking at, like it's a whole community. What's going on here?
Yeah, for sure. So, Burrito Dao and Burrito Bar is kind of like the greater collective, but essentially, we're just a group of artists, builders, creatives. A lot of us very into the crypto and NFT scene as well. But essentially, we're all just kind of collaborating together and making a lot of content, working on some like bespoke products that will be like a very unique way for all of the builders and artists to collaborate. And then we're also working towards events as well as a more grand goal. But yeah, we're a bunch of artists and builders, just chilling, hanging out with each other, showing support to each other. Yeah, and our profile pictures are actually
That's
by
perfect.
Subtle Bubble in the audience. It's actually like a pretty recent revelation, but yeah, it's
So
very
Subtle
it's very
Bubble started
beautiful.
the trend of the cute little anime guys.
Yep, they're the
Nice.
sippies. They're all
I
sippy.
like it. I'd love to make one of these, but it's like one of my goblins. That'd be fucking cool. I'm actually gonna make one of those. I'm gonna follow Subtle right now.
Hell yeah,
Sick,
for
dude.
sure.
Definitely connect on that.
What's up?
No, I was just saying that's sick. You guys should definitely connect on that. Are you involved with like the NFT space and stuff too?
Hold on, I didn't catch that. What'd you say?
I was asking like if you're involved with like the NFT space and everything too.
Not yet. I want to make something like I could probably do it with my goblins, but it's not at the point that I want it to be at yet. I want to make my own website and maybe start NFTs there. People can get them from my own website, not just like randomly.
That's dope. I mean, I will say like onboarding new people into the space and like educating people about everything is something that we're all very passionate about.
Dude, I would love to sit down and talk NFTs and like how they actually work, because I make art and I sell physical art, but it'd be cool to like mint something and like actually have like a cool thing to show off for a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Do you have any questions like off top, or should we just connect in DMs or something?
Oh man, nah, not right now. I followed you though. I'll definitely hit you up. You guys have a Discord?
We do.
Yeah, we actually have a Discord and we have a Twitter community. Both are really good places to join, learn more about what we're doing, and even get involved if you
Yeah.
have interest in that.
Definitely, man. Like artists and creators and builders is my thing. That's my shit.
That's dope. And yeah, I had an idea for a potential piece of content. So we haven't done like an education focused space in a while. But I think like since you are trying to learn more about it, I think it would be interesting if we sat down, came up with some questions, and then kind of did like a live like space discussing them and made it like an education.
I think it would be perfect if you started that on Discord, because you could stream your screen and you could like show us the process of doing that.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
a
I
sick
mean?
idea. I like that.
Yeah, I would definitely like to follow along with that and have some homies to talk to. Sounds fun.
That'd be dope. Yeah, I'll connect with you in DMs and we can talk a little bit more about like how that could be formatted, because I think it would be cool to like kind of make a space that's specifically for like onboarding artists. And then we usually do like VODs on YouTube as well. Like I think this one's being streamed to YouTube as we speak. So
yeah,
it would be cool to have like a VOD that people can kind of refer to if you be onboarded.
That sounds sweet, man.
So yeah, thank you for coming up.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna head out. It was great talking to y'all. I followed most of y'all. I followed everyone with the little guy on the profile picture.
Oh yeah.
Is the Sippy? Is that his name?
Yeah, these are the Sippies.
Yes.
It's the Sippy boy. All right, I like it.
Real. Awesome.
All right, peace out, y'all.
Peace. Thanks for coming up. Cool. We haven't had anybody else come up, so I think we probably are going to call it here as long as Joe and Alu are okay with that. But
yep, all good.
Cool. Well, we typically do these spaces Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. EST. I think this Friday we might have a really exciting guest coming up. I'm talking to them in DMs right now. It's actually somebody we talked to earlier in the space. If anybody's been here for the whole space, you might know who that is. But yeah, so tune in on Friday. Tune in every time, and then be sure to join the Twitter community, join the Discord. Joe.
Always, and yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you'll be able to catch us.
Sweet. Thanks, everybody.